as you know, Indiana State received the largest gift in its history in October of 2002 in the form of a grant from the Lilly Endowment of $20 million. That is a huge responsibility. We were delighted at the same time. And what I think in part delighted me at the initiation of this was the opportunity, and it is typical of the Lilly Endowment. They want you to take risks, to think outside the box, and then after you've done that, to come back and tell them how you have invented something which is sustainable. There's that kind of loop which is involved in this. So we worked hard at that. And I do remember the trip back from Indianapolis to Terre Haute after I had met with Sarah Cobb and Clay Robbins and had this opportunity. And they said, Mr. President, you need to think about probably things you haven't thought about before. And it was an opportunity. They said, you need to think about something that will leverage Indiana State and something that will leverage Indiana and that has an appropriate place within that mix. A lot of things came to mind. Every dean had things that they wanted to propose. But on the way back, also in the car, my wife, Vika, said, you know, she said, Lloyd, this is a great opportunity, but you need to think about investing where your strength is. And one of your strengths is in insurance, banking, risk management. One of our, before this, the largest gift from the Gongawares to build that program. So putting strength on strength, we noodled that idea along. Ron Green and the faculty in the School of Business and Marianne and Steve and have all, in one way or another, contributed to the shaping of what we now are celebrating today. This grant is to be used over a 4-year period of time to create a major outreach function for the School of Business, to provide new directions in financial services for the state of Indiana and for the nation, and I'll let Liz cover the world. But it is to do that. We are right now, if you know our campus, if you know our planning mode, the trustees do, we just did this a week ago, and the foundation knows. We are so anxious to explore, and Bob Thompson here from the foundation, we're trying to explore areas where we can really develop an area of preeminence. I heard it said this afternoon, we don't want just centers of okayness, we want centers of excellence on our campus. And this is clearly one of them. And as we begin to take in the ramifications of this tremendous development, it's going to serve as a model for other centers of excellence on the Indiana State campus. So we thank the endowment, and we thank those that have come before that have helped make this possible. This program will achieve preeminence in a number of very positive ways. It will be done through things that we do best, things like research, developing symposia, internships, scholar and resident programs. Can you imagine the headiness of having sent out an RFP to the leading scholars around the country and around the world to say, we have an opportunity for you to come and to explore this area, for example, in insurance, banking, and risk management. We want you to come. We want to support you in your work. Your only obligation is to work with our students periodically, to produce something of worth, to participate in the symposium. But the opportunity simply to read through that level of scholarship, leading a scholarship, that's extraordinary. Just really extraordinary, and what an opportunity. Another thing, I want to take a moment. I had one of the greatest pleasures of the year yesterday at 4 o'clock, or 4:10, I was late. But on the 11th floor of the School of Business, they had assembled the first class of network scholars, president scholars, and Gongaware scholars, along with faculty and staff. And we ushered in a new era at Indiana State University. We presented each of them with their own laptop computer, state-of-the-art, better than I have, better than the faculty has. It was pointed out quite quickly that it was better than but that's okay, you know. That's what excellence in a way does. It continues to raise all boats, and it did. That's a bright group of kids. They are so bright. And it's nice to think that year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, when you have 4 classes of students of that caliber, of proud parents home in their communities all around Indiana saying, my son and my daughter is a network scholar. They're doing this and this and this at Indiana State. That is just very, very, very powerful. I think this is an important niche for us, and we're going to make good on what we do in networks. Today we celebrate a new milestone, and that is the announcement of the Executive Director of Networks. She has a proven track record of success. The fact that she made it beyond Mike Alley and Pete Hudson is clear testimony to her ability to stick to it. She's created a very successful career in strategic business plans for several leading lending companies within the financial services area. Let me just say a bit about her, because she's also gracious enough that she will not indulge in that. She's forward-looking, and there is much in her background that will propel her forward, and us as well. Prior to coming to Networks, Liz served as president and chairperson of the Conseco Insurance Group and its 7-member companies. She created and executed a cohesive vision and strategy for the integration of Conseco's multiple insurance company acquisitions while successfully navigating through the parent company's period of change. Before that, she was an executive within the Citigroup enterprise, where she served as senior vice president. Now, if any of this is not true, Liz, you correct me. It sounded good when I read it, you know. She also spent 5 years with Boston Consulting Group and also served as a leader with First Interstate Bancorp. She earned her MBA from the Harvard Business School with concentrations in finance and strategy, and earned her advanced bachelor's degree from Occidental College with honors in a major in quantitative economics and a minor in psychology. That will serve you very well, let me assure you. She has served on multiple industry committees, including the Retirement Services Board and Long-Term Care and Disability Committees of American Council of Life Insurers. She is a founding member of the Executive Council for Long-Term Care and serves on the advisory board of St. Vincent Health. She is an invited speaker at many industry conferences and contributor to multiple industry publications. And she has been a featured executive in many publications, including being named among the under 40 top leaders by Hartford Business Journal and Executives to Watch in 2003 by the Indianapolis Star. And we appreciate the article that appeared from the Indianapolis Star covering what we're doing in Networks. And just last week it was announced that she's also one of 5 former Conseco executives who has launched their own insurance and financial services consulting firm, of which she will serve as president. So she is really well respected. She comes with just tremendous credentials, not only in Indianapolis, but Liz brings with her the capacity to work at a national level. She knows Washington. That's going to be important to Networks. But she also knows the world. She has had connections, for example, in Japan. We need that at this time at Indiana State University. This is our first center of excellence, and we look forward to what she's going to be able to do for us. I also forgot, I wanted to mention one other person I just saw as I take off my glasses. I want to thank Tony George for joining us also this afternoon. Not to steal it, Liz, from your thunder, but Tony and I just came from the Central Indiana Corporate Partnership, where we learned a lot, but we also thank you for your ongoing support. So having said all this, Liz, we are absolutely delighted to have you join us at Indiana State University. We know that you have what it takes to lead us into the future, to help us define what centers of excellence are really going to mean at Indiana State. And I think to begin to establish Indiana State as making it be recognized, what we call brand insurance nationally, and I think even internationally. So would you all please join me in welcoming Liz Georgakopoulos, our new Networks Director.
Thank Thank you. And thank you so much, Dr. Benjamin, for that introduction.